You're listening to a segment from the Slumpbuster Podcast. Find the full episode on Spotify, iTunes, the iHeartRadio app, or your preferred podcast platform. Enjoy.
The thing is, I just think that the Chargers are trying to save their asses in acting like they're not going to take a quarterback, but why not? There are so many good guys to take in this draft. Look at this class. You've got Tua, you've got Justin, you've got Joe. Why not? There are so many opportunities for these guys to go to teams that could compete in a Super Bowl instead of getting stuck in Cincinnati, right? It's just one of those things that, like, you wouldn't need as much time to nurture these guys. They just seem a little bit more mature. It's not like Jameis when he went to Tampa Bay and you're just like, oh, okay, hope for the best. Like, he got drafted so early, but let's just, he's really good. He's a Heisman guy, so let's just, hope that things pan out. Well, I don't know. So I truly think that looking at somebody in this draft class is going to be better than trying to take somebody like Cam Newton, for example, or, looking at somebody else in the league who is a free agent. I just don't think that that's the answer. I definitely think that, like, let's look at somebody else. Let's try to rebrand them, make them flashy, make them LA, like you're saying.
Yeah, well, that's going to be an interesting debate because you mentioned this draft class has a few interesting prospects. Yes, but the next draft class, we have perhaps one of the biggest prospects in years.
I mean, Sunshine would fit perfectly in LA. Sunshine.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, totally. And Trevor Lawrence, it's one of those things, though, again, like, I don't want to say, like, do we even know if we're going to have, I don't want to say that we're not going to have a football season. We will, obviously. I know we will. But it's like, we don't know what this year looks like. And he's still got time, and he's already shown his best stuff as such a young guy, right? And, like, I can only wonder how he's feeling right now, knowing that he's, like, already ready to compete at that level. So, I mean, that's a great question because you're totally right. That would be a good fit. I think that they need somebody tall, athletic, and speedy, and who takes charge.
Well, it's just mobile, so that's what Anthony Lynn wants.
Exactly. Somebody that runs and somebody that doesn't just, like, Peyton Manning it every time. So,
I mean, it's hard when you're 75 years old in football years with 18 kids. I mean, I love Philip Rivers to death, but, like, he was getting old.
But
I still think he
quarterbacks
can
are
play,
getting more mobile now. Quarterbacks are way more mobile now in 2020 than they have ever been, as far as I've watched the game my entire life. So
yeah, growing up, we really only had Mike Vick. Now it's, majority of the league have more mobile quarterbacks.
Right. Russell Wilson and
as long
Mahomes.
as they don't, as long as they don't zig when they need to zag like Garoppolo did, like that's the only bad part I could see with the mobile quarterbacks. Now, RG3, we had Andrew Luck, like the shelf life is going to start to come down
to deteriorate. Right.
Even Cam Newton, like we're talking about, Cam Newton might be.
And when you're a mobile quarterback and you're that big, to me, that's hard. Like, that's something that is an anomaly, but how long can that last? Like Cam's 6'6". So I don't know. I honestly never knew really how long he would last in the league, but I did think that he would make it to a couple more Super Bowls in Carolina before we would, see him let go.
My strategy for success for them, and I'm going to say, I think they should go after Cam. It's just a good fit at this point for him. And I think for them,
sign him to a 2-year
because
deal,
I do think that he does have the opportunity to, like, his high end, obviously we know, is MVP in the Super Bowl competing. We know what Tyrod's high end is. You can still draft a quarterback in this draft.
ACT player of the year.
If you don't think you're bad enough to be Trevor Lawrence bad, because obviously you will need to be in the top 5 or at least have enough trade assets to get yourself in that. I don't know, maybe trade off a Joey Bosa or arm and a leg to get Trevor Lawrence next year. But whoever is at number 1, I doubt will want to trade out of that spot. I think that it makes sense just from a standpoint of you need to get someone in there. And hey, let's say Cam works out. That's 2, 3, 4, 5 years. I mean, he's still 31?
He's 30, yeah.
He's 30.
I mean, that's an opportunity to, like, revitalize his career, get him out of the same thing that he's been doing for a while. He doesn't necessarily have to be the same athlete that he was back in 2015, but with the pieces that are around him in the Chargers, and he's going to be cheap relative to quarterbacks. He's
going to be right around like $20 million probably.
I would say closer to 25. I mean, Dak's talking a 4-year, $35 million deal. I'd pay.
Because Jerry's trying to make him the highest paid player in the league.
I would pay Cam at least 25. With that said, just given what we know,
give him like a Tom Brady contract.
a basic NFL contract, you know, like you have a couple years with us, and if it's not working out, okay, cut. I mean,
see, and I feel like Cam, like he does fit our scheme. Like he does fit what Anthony England wants. He has that mobile quarterback. He has a pretty good arm. We don't know what his arm looks like right now after the surgeries and everything, but he also fits like the lifestyle, like the weird fashion.
The way he dresses,
So, like, if they were going just not winning games, but more of, like, just trying to sell tickets, I feel like in the community, Cam would fit better than Tyrod would, especially Cam with his Cynthia doll hair that he has right now. He would fit that mold of trying to sell tickets, trying to get more community engagement. But, I mean, if we could get him even at, like, $20 million a year, you know, draft maybe a little bit lower round, maybe lower, trade back up in the end of the first round, get Jordan Love and, you know, kind of redshirt him for a year, because I know Utah State, they don't have a lot of, you know, they're not playing a lot of big teams. They're not having a lot of these big athletes or anything like that. Maybe redshirt him for a year, half a season or whatever. I think that would be their best bet